What's up, everybody? Welcome to podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Crackdown 3, and I want to talk about the review scores and what we've been hearing from Crackdown 3. Now, this video is going up a day after Crackdown has actually come out to the public, so people have gotten the chance to actually play this. Actual people, like real consumers. But, people have reviewed this game as early as 2 days ago and have said some non-flattering things. I want to talk about if this is an embarrassment to Microsoft, to Xbox. I want to talk about the ramifications this game has to the Xbox One, because to be honest, now here's the thing, I'm going to flat out honesty here, I do not have the game. I'm only talking from what I've seen review scores and people that have actually played the game said. Now, I've read a lot of different reviews, I've seen a lot of different videos of people playing it, I've seen people talking about the reviews, so it's not like I'm just making this video out of nowhere. I'm trying to base it off of what I have seen, and what I have seen is less than stellar things for Crackdown 3. To be honest, this weekend, and this entire week in general of games, has really disappointed me in terms of the reviews. Far Cry New Dawn, not getting good reviews. Jump Force, basically saying it's a complete mess. Crackdown 3, saying that it's an Xbox 360 game. So the only good game I think that came out of this week is Metro Exodus, which I actually thought could be very good, but I thought other games could beat it. This is a bad thing, okay, for Xbox One. This is a bad thing for Microsoft. Crackdown 3 has no excuse if it's as bad as what people are saying, and it's not a piece of garbage game. It's not an awful game, but it's an entirely mediocre. It's like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Like, don't buy this game unless you really, really love some specific mechanic Crackdown 3 does. And it's probably the destruction, it's probably the environment, but even that stuff I've heard that it is, again, like a 360 game. A lot of the mechanics in this game and a lot of what this game is, it's old. It's old, and it's not really necessary now, and it doesn't really work. It's not very fun. It doesn't look very good. It seems like an old video game. And the question, that's kind of where I want to stop on the beating down of Crackdown, okay? I don't want to, destroy the game. I want to have a discussion on it. I want to talk about how is that even possible for a game. And I did a preview of this game, and I talked about the delay, and I'm sure a lot of people know about the delays that this game had. This game was supposed to come out 2+ years ago, and it kept getting delayed. It got delayed like 3-4 times. That could be the reason, okay? Because really, if you go back 3, 4, 5 years, this could have been a game that may have fit into the Xbox 360 at that point. I know the Xbox One, we're approaching the 6-year birthday of both of the current gen consoles, so I'm not saying that if it came out when it was supposed to, it'd be a 360 game, but it would be earlier in the cycle of the Xbox One, PS4, and it wouldn't look, I think, as bad as it does now. Not look visually, but look in terms of look, all these mechanics are really old. It doesn't feel like a current gen game. More than that, it doesn't feel like a late current gen game. When The Last of Us, say, came out on PS3, it came out right at the tail end of the PS3. Now, if that game came out in the very beginning of the PS3, that would be even more of an accomplishment, right? Because it just came out. You expect lower quality games to come out in the beginning of your console generation. The very first year of Xbox, the very first year of PlayStation, in terms of this current one, and even the next one, even what I feel will be the next console generation in 2020, you're going to get games that maybe at the time seem really good, but then when time, goes by and it's like 2023, 2024, you look back at the 2020 games that came out on your Xbox 2, your PS5, and you say, you know what? Those games weren't all that good. There's a lot of things that they couldn't unlock from the console early on. And, and again, does that make the game look bad? Not really, not in that circumstance, not in that situation. But for a thing like Crackdown, for a game that's been delayed so many times, and really the only game Microsoft has for this first half of 2019. Now, we know Gears is coming. We know Gears is coming in the fall of 2019. We know Halo 6 is eventually coming. I feel like that could be a next-gen game. You will have to see for that one. But Crackdown 3 is basically all the exclusivity that Microsoft has right now, and it's a game that, again, has been delayed so many times for 2+ years, and then it comes out and it gets just not good reviews, okay? It's honestly a lot like, I believe, The Last Guardian, say, on PS4, where the game, obviously was in development for PS3, got got delayed, comes out for PS4, and, there's some good with it. People are really trying to find, and that's coming from someone who bought the game and played it and beat the entire game. But, you can take a step back and say, well, when you're looking at the reviews, people are really trying, people that try to give it good scores, really were trying to find just the best of the best parts of that game and zero in on it and say, well, you can overlook this and that. But overall, it was a massively flawed game. It was a game that was, 4, 5, 6 years past its time. Should have came out 4, 5, 6 years before it actually did. Would have been better for it. Had very, very old mechanics. Just didn't overall work. And I don't think that's an awful game, but I think it's just a subpar game I should never have bought. To be honest, I feel like Crackdown 3 is the equivalent. A game that should have been out 2, 3 years ago. A game that doesn't really work now. Has lazy mechanics. Has things that people, that it just doesn't jive with people now. And I'm not saying the entire gameplay mechanics. I'm saying some of the parts of the game, the graphics, the what you're actually trying to accomplish in the game, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is in this specific game, it's old. It's a game that doesn't really fit the current landscape, and it's a game that had so much, not really momentum, but had so much talk about it because of the constant delays, and then comes out, and it's different if this game is a 9 out of 10, if it's being talked as for Game of the Year, if it's this and that, but it's not. It's a game that comes out, it gets 60s, it gets, and that's the average. Okay, the average is like 62, 61, which means there's a lot of low scores, there's a lot of 3, 4, 5 scores, and then there's a couple 6, 7, 8 scores to even it out. So overall, there's a lot of people that think this is a bad game, just a flat out bad game, and that hurts. I think that really hurts confidence, because it's like, this is a game people have been waiting for. Maybe this is a game that really is all they have for exclusive wise, and then it comes out and it's kind of just a dud. And here's the thing, again, not picking on Crackdown, that's what this week has been in gaming in general. I'm very disappointed with this week in gaming. Metro Exodus, I thought that game could be the game that maybe stands out the most, because I don't really think it's having the most people talking about it, but it looks really beautiful, right? Everything looks really good about it. And then lo and behold, the game's got like an 84. People are actually saying a lot of good things about it. I've seen a lot of stuff on Metro too, and people are very happy with the game. Jump Force, I thought that game could be really, really good. It seems like a totally broken mess. It's getting the exact same scores as Crackdown, okay? So a below average game. Crackdown 3, a game that I did think out of all these games would be the lowest or would have the hardest time doing something. I was right. It's exactly kind of what I thought. And then Far Cry kind of just comes out and there's nothing special about it. It's getting like 6s and 7s. So this week, really all of these brand new games coming out, and Anthem comes out next week, all of these games coming out, and they're all kind of failures. To be honest, I feel like they're all failures, other than maybe Metro. Sales figures are different, okay? If it sells, it sells, but the review scores is what I'm talking about here. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Crackdown 3? Do you guys have it yourself? Do you enjoy it? Do you disagree with the review scores? But what do you think this means for Microsoft Xbox having this game come out in the condition it did after all of these delays and, being pushed back so far? Let me know. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. And thank you, as always, for watching these videos. I hope to see you on the next one.